Now, Brett, we're not out of the woods yet. We still have some NBA and some NHL to talk about before we get to our Levy lock and pick of the pod. The NBA, though, both of these leagues, they're coming down the bitter stretch, the very end of their regular seasons. It's hard to find some value with some of these games now.
Yeah, the NBA, generally speaking, I'm not betting too much on it at this point in the year. I'm just waiting for the playoffs. May watch some of the bigger games, but I was able to find one spread, I guess, that enticed me, Higgins. I thought the line was too big considering Atlanta on Wednesday night did just clinch their playoffs spot, whatever. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, they were in the 4 seed. I wasn't worried about it, but the fact that it's a back to back and they did clinch the night before, I do think 12 and a half is too many points against the Orlando Magic. So I'm going to take Orlando, who, are trying to develop their young talent and will take this opportunity against a playoff team to, push their young players and say, go out there and prove you can beat quality NBA talent. So I don't know if Orlando can cover. I don't know what Atlanta will do with their minutes on Thursday night, but it does not feel like they will be playing everyone enough minutes to, to cover that 12 and a half.
I agree. I was looking at some potential parlay options, some money line parlay options with a heavy favorite like the Hawks as the anchor potentially. But after the Hawks clinched their playoff berth on Wednesday, because that's what they were playing for, really. They had already secured at least a play-in spot, but this is a playoff berth spot, so they're not playing in those play-in games that are special this year. I agree. I don't know how seriously they're going to be playing on Thursday night after having just clinched on Wednesday night. I don't know what those minutes are going to look like. So I think that spread is very high, and I think the Orlando Magic is the right play there. Absolutely. I'm I'm kind of staying away from the spreads though on Thursday night though, Brett. I'm going with the Clippers Hornets game, and both of these teams have clinched playoff spots already. I mean, we have the Clippers who are currently sitting in the 3 spot, could potentially fall. They're jostling with the Nuggets for position right now. And we have the Hornets who have a play-in berth clinched right now, but they're jostling right now for what seed in those play-in games are they're going to be in the East. So this should be a good game. I expect some defense to actually be played. And when you look at how these teams have done in the over-unders on the year, the under is the natural play here. The Clippers are 33, 34, and 2 on the year at hitting their overs. So they hit their unders just a little bit more than they hit their overs. The Charlotte Hornets, however, they're the third best team in the NBA at hitting their unders. They are 38, 30, and 1 at hitting their unders. So I'm going to be taking 224 under 224 because I think there's going to be some actual defense played in this game. Both of these teams actually care about their seeding in the playoffs and care about where they're going to fall in these standings still. So I don't think this is just going to be a throwaway game where everyone's going to be able to score easily.
All right, we'll have to see. I have no feel for that game, Higgins. Too much of it to me relies upon if Paul George and Kawhi are out there, right? For
Mm-hmm.
everything. So I just honestly cannot with any confidence bet on anything with the Clippers until I know that. Like that could be up until 2 hours before the game, which is crazy. It's it's just those two players impact so much for the LA Clippers offensively, defensively, in terms of who's even getting the ball on offense because that's almost 40 shots between the two of them. So, how many shots are there for Reggie Jackson or Patrick Beverly or any of these other guys, Marcus Morris? So it's just hard to say with certainty, but you laid out the numbers that would certainly indicate the lower is within play. So I would trust the numbers.
Also, looking at the past 10 games for each of these teams, The Clippers have actually been the solid play in taking an under in the past 10 games. The Charlotte Hornets on the season, like I said, they're hitting unders overall on the season more frequently. But in the past 10 games, the Clippers are 8-1-1. The Hornets, they're 5-5. However, an over/under set at 224. That is the second highest total points. The second highest points total that either of these teams have had in their past 10 games. So it's a high over/under points total. Both of these teams are hitting their unders a little bit more, whether it be on the season or in the past 10 games. I like the play, even though I don't like unders, so I'm going to be nail biting coming down to the end, I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely going to be sweating it out.